What's up guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, this video is going to be really exciting and I'm fucking pumped for it. So, there's an event coming up which is called HYROX. They haven't run it here in Australia, but it's been run all through Europe and America and it looks really epic. Now, I haven't done this before, but I'm going to take you through my journey of training for it, my experience with it, and my feedback on the actual event itself. For me, I've got 3 weeks to train for the Sydney event, which is the first one coming up. I also have the Melbourne event 2 weeks after that as well. So I'm going to be doing 2 in the next 5 weeks. Obviously, I've just come back from Europe, so my training hasn't been amazing, which ironically is probably actually a good thing for this video because I'm going to show you the way in which I approach my training for an event like this, the way I think about my training, the way I undulate it, the way I taper as well. The way I'm going to do it, I'm going to basically train through the Sydney event. These events are you do want to taper for them to get your best time. Because I've only got 3 weeks of training, I don't want to over taper for the first one. I almost want to train up to the event, train through it, which means I'm not going to come in fully fresh for the event itself, but then aim for the Melbourne event to be the one I get the good time or the better time out of those two, because again, 3 weeks is not enough time for this type of event. You probably want to give yourself a few months if you want to get a serious time at it. So I know that is already a fact. So I'm going to use the first one as filling out the event, filling out the weights of things like the sled push and pull, seeing how I pull up between the stations, and then use the Melbourne event as the one where I've got 1 under my belt, another 2 weeks of training, which at this point, straight after a holiday, it's going to be really beneficial. But then again, just talking through the experiences and how I kind of feel with it. So for those of you that don't know what HYROX is, it looks epic. So it's a fitness event. There are 8 stations. Between each station, you run a kilometer. So you run a kilometer, do a station, run a kilometer, do a station. And then basically you keep working your way through until you complete the event. Now it goes for about an hour. The top elite athletes do it in about an hour. So it's pretty hectic. It's definitely not an easy event, but it's one, it looks like an amazing workout. So I don't think anyone's gonna leave ever not having feel like they've worked, not having challenged themselves. The thing I love about this event, there's a really good mix of weights in it too. The stations are, number 1 is a 1K ski yoke, number 2 is a sled push, number 3 is a sled pull, number 4 is a burpee broad jump, I think it's 80 meters. Number 5 is a 1K row. Number 6 is a kettlebell carry for 200 meters. I think it's 32 kilos for the guys. Number 7 is walking lunges with weights. And number 8 is 100 wall balls. So it's pretty hectic. This is gonna test you out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's a really good mix, I think, in between all the different stations and one which I'm super pumped for. I'm going to try to emulate a lot of these stations throughout the next 3 weeks. I'm going to also try to make sure I'm getting into that habit of going for a run and then come back to a station, going for a run, because the changeovers in an event like this is going to be more impactful than going for more long distance run. Specificity is something which is really important when it comes to sports. So making sure I'm actually doing things which my body is going to respond well to when it comes to the actual event itself. Now, because I came back yesterday, I have been training while I've been gone, so I haven't been completely off, but my conditioning is definitely not where it was 3 weeks before because we're away for 3 weeks. But my strength's not at a bad level. Obviously, I love them both to be a little bit higher as well. But my first couple sessions back, I'm just going to go a little bit lighter, get my body used to running again, getting my body used to working again. So I definitely don't want to start today at 100%. I'm going to go for a bit of a light run. I'm going to about a 6K run now, and I'm going to do F45 tomorrow morning, which would be a really good build and a good start to it as well. And a really good stretch is something I'm looking forward to as well. So I'm going to make sure my body's primed. I'm looking after myself. I don't want any injuries because I'm trying to push myself too hard too early. And then I'm gonna build into it this week as well. But let's get moving, team, and I'll take you through. So I'm just getting into a couple of big sessions now. So this is my first big proper conditioning workout, which is gonna be HYROX related. So I'm gonna use a similar format, but I'm gonna be doing the bike with other alternative exercises to it. So I'm gonna do 2Ks on the bike, add an exercise in, 2Ks on the bike, add an exercise in as well. I did a bit of a light run yesterday just to make sure my body's pulling up really well. This is my 3rd session from being back. I only got back 2 days ago. And this one's just trying to get my heart rate to a point where I'm feeling it, but not so hard that my body's really pushing itself to an absolute fatigue. I just want to continue to work my way through. Should go for about an hour. It's trying to use the same format, slightly different stimuli to the actual competition itself. So instead of running, I'm going to do bike, for example, just because it's a little bit easier on my joints and my ligaments. Just want to make sure they're nice and warm more than anything else, to be honest. I know this is my 3rd session back from holidays, so the intensity is going to be slightly decreased on this one. I just want to keep a nice consistent pace. The reason I'm doing that one is I don't want to injure myself more than anything else. I definitely want to increase and ramp it up, but I want to be holding that into that decent intensity for an hour, making sure my body's pulling it really well, making sure I'm sweating, make sure I can feel it. And then next week, I'll probably do a couple of simulations on the actual workout itself, so that way I can really feel it out, see how my times are, and then start to improve it there as well. But 3rd session, let's get it done. All right, so just finished isolation. Oh man, that hurts so much. Did a full one. Calves a little bit sore though, but I did it at 80% intensity, I think. So I wasn't trying to absolutely demolish it because I just want to try to get the pacing right. I haven't done one before, but we're 2.5 weeks out now, so I want to see what a full one feels like. And yeah, it was tough. Definitely some strategies in there. I think I went a bit too hard on some of the stations, a little bit too easy on some other ones, but it's good. I'm ready. We're 2.5 weeks out. I just did my first full, pretty much. Like I didn't quite do the right weights, but basically full end-to-end one. It was tough. It was pretty tough, obviously. I was trying to pace it because I know this thing's going to be pretty full on, but just trying to get a feel for like where I can push, where you can't push, what the tactics are. There's definitely some tactics in this, definitely. Overall, felt pretty good. Definitely started to feel it towards the end, I think. I went out a little too hard at the start of the second half after I finished the burpees. Kind of picked up a little bit because I felt pretty good at that point, but that's only like 30 minutes in. So definitely it's a tough event. It's a fucking good workout. Like, I'm gassed. That was really good. That was really cool. Running, obviously, I need to pace that a little bit better. I went out pretty hard thinking I could hold it, but obviously when you start to get gas through the arms, everything starts to hurt. The only thing I held back on was the weights a little bit. I'm recovering from a bit of a knee and a bit of a calf injury. Felt fine today though, to be honest, but I just don't want to like jump straight into max weights straight away. I want to kind of build into it, particularly through my calf, which I had a little bit of a strain just before I went away, which is pretty much recovered. But again, I just don't want to injure it basically, because that'll pull you back further than anything else will. But it felt good. 2.5 weeks to go. This week's gonna be a lot of volume training. So a lot of endurance, a lot of volume, with some weight sessions in there too, but mostly volume for the next kind of week and a half. It's too close for me to do a proper strength load, but trying to get the volume in and try to get a feel for the program and how it's gonna work, and looking forward to it. What's up, legends? So we are 2 weeks away from HYROX, and I did a bit of a simulation yesterday, which was a ton of fun. It was hard, it was tough, and today I'm doing interval training. So I'm gonna run 1 hour of intervals. I'm gonna do 2 minutes on, 30 seconds off, just above or faster than what race pace is. In the last 20 minutes, I'll probably reduce the timing to about 90 seconds on, 30 seconds off for it as well. And the reason I'm doing interval training instead of just straight running is because of the nature of the event. I want to be running a little bit faster than I normally would at the event. So I'm going to be doing 2 minutes hard, 30 seconds easy, 2 minutes hard, 30 seconds easy. I feel like interval training will really get you in a better physicality, just given how it is. It's obviously a lot of stop starting. Well, there's no stopping, but it's a lot of restarting, I think is a better way to word it. So I'm going to be holding pretty fast pace, under 3:30 for the intervals for this one, and see how I go. But I probably wouldn't do too many long distance runs, even though it's a huge running event. You're only running a kilometer max, so interval training is my preference leading into it, especially this close. And yeah, let's go into it. It's race day, so we're heading down to Homebush now, where the registration tent is, and this is my first HYROX competition, so I'm feeling good. Feeling pretty excited. It's the first pretty much for everyone here in Sydney too, so it's not just me. Almost everyone here, unless they've competed internationally, it's their first time. But it's been running all morning. I've been seeing heaps of stuff on Instagram for people competing in it, in the teams, individually, and just having an absolute blast. So in terms of my leading up to this one, I actually did I was in Bali about 4 days ago doing an active escapes retreat, but I've been training pretty hard leading into it. I did basically a full simulation 2 days ago, slightly lighter weights, but just wanted to kind of move and see how I was feeling. Yesterday was very light. Light, short, sharp. It's about 30 minutes, plenty of breaks, and just trying to do a little bit of a taper. It's almost a mini taper. I'd normally taper more for an event like this, but I wanted to train through it because I've obviously got Melbourne in 2 weeks. So I just want to see how I feel, see how my shoes go, see how the course is, get the nerves out of the way, get the excitement out of the way, and get ready to go. I just got close to the front. I can hear it. It's absolutely pumping in there, like pumping. All right, so Just completed my first HYROX in Sydney, Australia, and my initial thoughts were, that was fucking sick. I thought that was one of, if not the best run fitness event or competition I've ever been a part of. And I mean that from end to end. So not just around the actual race, but also the way the event was set up, the energy, the spectators, the sign up process, the location, everything about that was just awesome. What I loved about it was you had people that just started their fitness journey all the way through to professional athletes, all competing on the same day, could watch each other, no one got in each other's way, and the energy across the entire day was amazing. Would highly recommend anyone wanting to get involved with it. I want to speak about the race in particular, because I know a lot of people here are wanting to know more about it. So I competed in the men's pro division, so the top one. We had a stacked lineup. So we had professional CrossFitters, HYROX athletes, we had athletes who compete at OCRs, F45, a whole range of different athletes all competing on that event. Firstly, we went out of the gates so hot. I wasn't sure how fast to push the pace, but we probably came out at a 3:30 pace in that first kilometer, and everyone was sticking together. So it wasn't just me. There was a good probably 8 or 9 people towards the front. So it came out pretty hot. Was doing really well in the top few until we got to the sleds. The sled pull slowed me down quite a bit. I probably underestimated how hard that would be. I also went for a 5th lap accidentally, so I probably lost 20 seconds there, let's say. And one thing I probably underestimated was coming out of the sleds. It's 205 kilos in the push and 165 kilos for the pull for the men's pro. Going from that into a 4-minute kilometer pace, I knew it was gonna be tough, but I didn't realize how much lactic was gonna be in my legs at that point in time. And obviously I've just come off an overseas trip, so I'm a little bit jet lagged as well, but that fatigue settled in really early, and my quads were actually the first thing that blew up for me personally. And I probably realized when I got to the run after the sled pull, I've started off a little bit hard on this one. And obviously this is my first time doing this event. So like anything, the first one that you do is always gonna be a little bit tricky to try to figure out where to push, where to hold back, where can I be more efficient, and how do I pace this whole event. I was really happy with how I went. So I got a 6th place in the men's pro, again against a stacked lineup, but I was happy with how I went. I would have loved to go on a few minutes quicker with my time, but that's the whole point of doing your first one, is just see where you're at, and I can't wait to improve on my next one as well. Probably the other one that surprised me a little bit was how hard the wall balls were at the end. I was gonna break it up anyway, but I would have thought this would be not as challenging as it was. I've been doing it in training, but when you're getting there, you've got the adrenaline pumping of the event. You've obviously been going for, close to an hour around the track, and you get to the wall balls at the end. It's 9 kilos, and I just remember my legs were blowing up at that point. I was trying to get a first set of 50. I think I did about 30 on that first one and started doing 15s, 10s from there on out. Interestingly, that was a lot slower than I was expecting comparatively, because you can see your times afterwards and you can see your splits. That was actually one of my better performing stations, but I think I did it in 4 minutes 40. I actually was trying to get sub 4 minutes before the event. So that was one for me I found harder than I was expecting. It's because of the lead up to that station right at the end. You've obviously just done your lunges as well. You're coming off an hour worth of just hard work, and that one really gassed me. The atmosphere and the athletes were amazing. I can't thank them enough for making that one of the most enjoyable races that I've done. We were encouraging each other. There was a couple of, high fives on the way, bum slaps, that kind of stuff, just to encourage everyone getting through it. And I just love the energy and the positivity that every single person had. For spectators, this was awesome. So I love the fact that the spectators could almost go around a lot of the stations, and they could see the sleds, they could see the ergs. You can pretty much watch the entire event as it's unfolding. And it was really encouraging, because as I was doing laps around, you had people cheering you on, you had your friends there, and everyone just kind of really encouraging each other. One of the things that I really loved, I mentioned it earlier, but the fact that we had people that could do relays, teams of 2 or individual, and there's different divisions, just meant that the range of people there, anyone could do it. I love that so much, because for me personally, I'm a coach and an athlete. I just love to see people giving it a crack. And I love seeing people give it a crack when it's so far out of their comfort zone. And this is certainly an event where a lot of the movements are on purpose to make them accessible. Things like a sled push, yes, you can improve on it, but anyone can kind of do it without needing to do a technique workshop and spend months on developing a certain skill. Obviously you can always get better, but you can give it a crack from the get-go. And I thought that was a really, really cool thing with the event. So Melbourne in just over a week, I'm gonna give my second one a crack and see how I go there. Overall thoughts, guys, I love that event, would highly recommend it. If you're a seasoned athlete wanting to test yourself, or if you're looking to get into it, the pairs and the relays are great ways to do it. And I cannot see anyone doing this without having a ton of fun at the event. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my YouTube video. Please hit subscribe down below for more content. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've done your own HYROX, or if you have any other experiences with the event itself. We'd love to hear how you went with your event.